Dude, I bought a bootleg DVD of that off of eBay. You know what I mean? That's how much I like that movie.
Golly.
It showed up in a clear jewel case with just a printed insert that just said Fright Night 2. You know what I mean? Like, they spared no expense for this shit.
It was somebody was printing them in the back alley of a Comic-Con.
He's in his garage, just like $40. Boom, here you go, asshole.
$40?
Yeah, motherfucker, it was $40.
Holy shit. You
can't find it anywhere, Brian.
Really?
Ooh, yeah. They are the children of the atom.
Was it 1988, right?
86.
When The Fly came out? 86.
1986.
David Cronenberg's The Fly, starring Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, man.
Dude,
it is so good. It is so good.
It had been a long time since I had seen this movie because there was a lot I had forgotten about this film.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've probably seen this movie, but there's so many things in this movie that I just so clearly remember because there's so much stuff that happens in here that just
it's way grosser than I remember.
Disgusting and creepy.
It was way grosser than I remember.
Man.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Holy shit. Yeah. Oh.
Cronenberg, man. I mean, his movies. One thing I was doing, I was researching a lot of this stuff, and I realized there's a lot of Cronenberg movies I haven't seen that I want to see now. I mean, you've
seen Nightbreed, right?
I don't think I've seen that. I haven't seen Scanners, which I thought I had seen Scanners,
Brian.
but that one is pretty amazing. Oh, I have seen The Dead Zone, though. The Dead Zone I've seen, which I really love.
Great movie.
But the movie called Existence, I think I want to see.
Add Nightbreed to the list. You're not
Nightbreed?
Gonna be disappointed.
What year did that one come out?
Let's see. Clive Barker actually directed it.
That's why I know it.
1990.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Cronenberg was in this one. Like, he started. I don't know if he had anything creatively to do with it, though, did he?
I don't see it on his list here.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, Cronenberg shows up in The Fly.
Well, yeah. He always kind of, and he was in what Friday the 13th movie did he play the psychologist in? It was Jason Goes to Space or whatever it was, right?
Well, he did Friday the 13th, the series.
No, he was in. He cameoed in one of the films too.
Was he?
He got murdered by Jason in. Yeah, it was Jason Goes to Space. Not Jason. That's probably not the name of the movie. I think it's
Jason X. Is that the
Jason
one?
X? Yeah. I think. Jason Goes to Space. It's like a Curious George book.
Like, that is all it is, man. I mean, it is the jump the shark moment when
this
it comes to
time
that
Jason
movie.
murders the man in the yellow hat. Check it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, back to The Fly.
Yes.
Man. For those who have never seen it, it's currently on Hulu, Amazon Prime. I don't think it's on Netflix just yet.
No, I don't. I didn't see it on there. No.
Yeah, but it's definitely Prime and Hulu. Jeff Goldblum plays a scientist. He's a scientist.
He's
right?
a scientist.
Maybe more of a facilitator. Not an engineer where he builds things or anything like that. But he has a master plan. He wants to help mankind. He wants to save the world. He's at some kind of a party, like a press event, and Gina Davis plays Veronica. She's this journalist for, is it the magazine? Is it just Science Magazine?
Yeah,
is that
Science
the name of it?
Magazine.
Or Fuse it? No, Science.
Yeah,
yes.
It's just Science. That's all it is.
Yeah. And all these other scientists, like, they're obviously, because, they're all nerds and it's an 80s movie, they're all trying to get her attention for, like, different projects they're working on. And Jeff Goldblum's the latest one given his pitch. And he convinced her because, he's very charming and he's still Jeff Goldblum.
He has a great pickup line, man. Everybody else is just kind of imposters, but he's got the invention that's going to change the world as they know it.
Yeah. Yeah. So he drops that bombshell on her, and she's like, well, I got to check this out. So they go back to his super creepy loft apartment.
Yeah, I just want to stop you on this. I hate interrupting you, but, can you imagine being a character like that in real life and just being like, where are you taking me?
Yeah. He lives in the middle of an abandoned warehouse park. Like, there's no houses around. There's no commercialized industry.
In fact,
no fork trucks. There's no nothing.
You know what it reminds me of?
Empty warehouse.
It reminds me of the steel factory from RoboCop.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. He's next door to RoboCop. Is Cronenberg's Fly. They're neighbors.
except that one was shot, in Toronto. So.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Detroit. I mean, it's close enough.
Yeah. Well, no. The Fly was shot in Toronto. The Fly was actually, or RoboCop was actually shot in Dallas, Texas.
But they modeled it for Detroit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on some other podcast.
Yeah, we should definitely get into that later. Anyway, so they get to Seth's loft, and in a very Dr. Frankenstein-y kind of way,
Yeah.
he for some reason has to take her stocking. He asks for her stocking instead of like.
Well,
her
she's just
shoe.
flirting with him too, you know.
Yeah, and there's obviously there's a chemistry going there. So he has her remove her stocking because it was 1986 and people still wore those. And he puts it in one of these big old, xenomorphish kind of Ripley Scott looking.
Yeah, the very
pod.
HR Giger look to it. It's very creepy.
And these pods are connected by these big fucking cables, and he puts it in one, and, laser light show, and pew, it's transferred over to the other pod. And it turns out they're teleporting pods. So it's like, oh my God, he can change the world because he suffers from extreme motion sickness and things like that, right?
Yeah, he gets so sick he threw up on his tricycle.
Right, yeah. It's a very charming story.
Yeah.
So she's recording all this. She goes back to her editor, whom is played by
John Getz.
If you had to pick, let's see, if you had to nail a more 86 stereotype for a sleaze bag, I mean, this guy hits every fucking note you would expect. You think scumbag, he hits them all in this film
he's terrible.
Multiple times.
He's like sexually harassing
he's
her.
a dick.
And
yeah.
I mean...
Every scene he's in, he's like, "What about looking at my dick?" That's basically what he says to her.
He shows up in her shower.
Yeah, the first time he's just in her apartment showering because they happened to date like a couple months previously. He kept her key.
No, what makes even more of a scumbag?
Back.
He was dating her when she was in college. He was a teacher or something like that.
Yeah, dude. So many lines are crossed with this guy.
Yes.
Man. Oh, every scene he's in, and no matter how. Later on in the movie, he grows to be like a little bit protective. Like he genuinely is looking out for her. He does show some concern for Bundle, but he's always like, "What about my dick?" Like it's always overshadowed.
I don't know if you really recognize him from some other movies. There's two other movies that I remember him for, and he plays the same role. One was Charlie Sheen's Men at Work.
Yeah,
and the other one was Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Those are the only two I got, but I'm right with you,
good,
man.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, he plays that same sleazy 80s fucking
such a sleaze
dirtbag.
Oh my God, dude. Holy shit. It's almost like watching Dennis Reynolds, but in a movie from 86.
Yes.
That's exactly what he's like in this movie. He's that fucking level of psychotic.
Oh, man. What? Yeah, I mean, he epitomized. I mean, just oozes.
Oh, just so greasy,
despicableness.
Jesus Christ! And I'm sure probably in real life the dude's probably like was probably fairly nice, but man, he played sleaze fucking better than anybody.
Yeah, I mean
him and like Miguel Ferrer, you know what I mean? They were like the greatest ever.
Yeah, he drives around that shitty Maserati and
oh my God,
oh God, yeah,
all those scarves, you motherfucker.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that.
The sweaters with the shirts underneath, you know what I mean? Collars poking out, you dick.
And above all, the fancy hunting rifle,
Oh yeah, dude, for real.
Oh Jesus.
So after they teleport, or he teleports her stocking, like they end up hooking up. So she goes to her editor, who's this sleazebag, and he's really jealous, like he wants her back. So in a way to fuck with her and fuck with Seth, he goes forward with like a full story. He's planning on outing his project before it's even done. He's like, the man who changed the world, and it's the best magazine cover I've ever seen.
Man.
Like the drawing of Jeff Goldblum they did, like
it looks like an album cover.
Oh, it does. Yeah, absolutely. If he ever put the next album he puts out, he should use that very fucking picture at that. Just call it,
it is
Brundle
so
Bloom or some
fucking
shit.
80s, man.
Yeah,
the colors,
it's amazing. Yeah,
the
I'm about to find a picture of that and put it up when we post this episode.
Yeah,
but
the
yeah,
polynomials in it. Yeah, it's
amazing.
Fucking 80s.
So then Gina Davis convinces this guy, like, hey, don't be a dick. Well, Jeff Goldblum at some point, he deduces, like he houses it, like he Sherlocks it, that her editor and Gina Davis were involved at some point, so he starts getting drunk. And for some reason, he has a baboon. He sends the baboon through, and and it works and all that, and he's just getting drunker and everything like that. He's still talking to this. Is a monkey, right? The baboons are monkeys.
Yeah, it's a baboon.
Yeah. So he just keeps talking to this baboon, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go through the pod. So he strips down, dude. The baboon's still roaming around, like pulling stuffing out of a chair. Goldblum bends down like the Terminator coming out of the pod.
Well, you're forgetting one of the biggest parts of this whole thing. The baboon is sitting there doing a little foreshadowing because this little pesky fly is bothering this baboon.
Yeah.
But Goldblum doesn't notice it, gets in there.
Nope.
And
he's drunk.
He's in there and it's kind of panning around him and it goes up to the side window. And what do you see in that pod with him? A little tiny fly.
Oh, yeah.
And right there, I mean, this is the start of just a roller coaster of horror,
everything,
man.
Oh, dude, it gets so gnarly. So he goes to the pod and he comes out, and when he comes out of the smoke, I don't know if it was just me or what, but the makeup they put on him pre-transportation was different because it's almost he looked more handsome when he came out of the pod.
He looks
his hair was
jacked
styled
too,
differently.
man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was all ripped. Like his hair was styled differently. You know what I mean? He was all glistening and ripped. It's like, what the fuck? Like it's like he was way more handsome like a couple of seconds now than he was previously. Like I'm not in my head. That's the way I instantly was like, that's crazy. So you can assume that like when his DNA was or whatever with he and the fly, it's like okay, maybe it made him stronger. So much so, as soon as he jumps out, he's nude. Baboon jumps up in his arms and he catches it like a baby.
Yeah.
They exchange like a soulful look, and that's that. So he goes to sleep. Gina Davis shows up, and they come forward with everything. He says he was jealous, and he went through, and she's like, you're wrong. It's over with me and him. He's an asshole. Blah blah blah. They make up. Is it almost immediately that he starts showing signs that night?
Yeah, so I mean like that night, I mean they go to bed again, man, and like he's got like these hyper, sexual powers, man. Like he's going all night, and even she's like, man,
what Jesse Ventura would classify as a sexual tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, there you go. A goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, that's what Goldblum was doing, and Gina Davis can't believe what's going on. And at some point through the night too, he gets up and he starts doing gymnastics through the different pipes in his house.
And let me ask you this: I mean, what apartment can you get where there's some like uneven bars so you can just do some fucking Olympic style?
He's running on his ceiling as he's doing flips and stuff, and he's in his chair like Nicolas Cage and in that fucking movie where he was the in Con Air when he's doing like those weird fingertip push-ups on his like Goldblum's doing these gymnastics on this chair and his chest is all puffy and it's such a strange sequence, but you can see this guy like physically he's going through some shit.
Yeah,
like, he's feeling like $1 million.
I think the scenes we're talking about, I think it's like a couple of days have gone by.
Yeah,
and shit's starting to change because one thing Gina Davis notices is he's got some weird hairs growing on his back from a
fucking
wound,
thick,
and she's like really concerned about it and she cuts them off, and you don't really know what she's gonna do with it. Yeah,
wasn't it like wire?
No, it's like big old scissors,
Yeah,
but she's like, yeah, these things are just crazy coarse and all this, so she cuts off and she's gonna do something with them. We don't know yet.
Right.
But it leads us into like one of the best scenes because I mean, this whole time like all Jeff Goldblum thinks is he's like, oh, I've jumped into the plasma pool, and whatever it's done, like he thinks the whole thing acted like a coffee filter and just like filtered all the shit out of his body and just left all the purity, and that's why he's got like this strength and this hyper senses and all this stuff, and he feels like a Superman. but
all this is going on, he's more twitchy in his movements. Yes. He really has an adoration for sugar.
So it leads to this I think it's one of the best scenes of the movie is them sitting in that coffee shop. And like they both got coffee, but he just keeps pouring sugar into his shit, and he's like a tweaker, man. He's just like all he does. He can't shut up, and he's just talking.
But he's given a Goldblum level like dissertation, like verbal breakdown. It's an assault of these scientific flows.
Yeah,
it's got this rhythm to it, and the whole time he's just mowing down pounds of sugar.
Yeah, he's doing that, and he's like talking to the waiter, and he's like waiter, I need a scone, a scone. Yeah, and he's like waiter. He pounds the table, and he's like Jesus Christ. And even Gina Davis, you see her jump back, and she's like, wait a minute, something isn't right here.
Yeah.
It's a great scene. I love it.
Yeah. So he's going through some changes, and then he, like Brian was saying, he's been purified. He came out, like a filtered coffee. He's better than what he was before, and he really wants Gina Davis to go through the pods so that she can be purified too, and they can be the dynamic duo together. Because basically, like the way this argument started is like he just wanted to fuck her more. So she's human and got tired, and he's like, "Well, go through the machine, and then we can fuck all night," kind of deal. Like that's really like the driving force of this movie. Is like, look at my dick. So she refuses to go through, and he's like,
And he loses it, man.
He was this really charming, like, he's Jeff Goldblum. You're getting, like, with this guy now, like, he was charming. He was kind of mild-mannered. He was really endearing. And you're just like, oh, I love this adorable little professor. And then when she refuses to go through, he fucking snaps.
Yeah, and it should be said that during this time, since time has passed, you can see the makeup effects starting to come out now. They're making his skin look really bad. Yeah, I mean, he's starting to look really terrible. And even she mentions it, she's like, wow, Seth, you look really bad. Yeah, he right. He fucking goes off on her. He's like, you're
dude.
Jealous,
You're a fucking drag. I've been through the plasma pool. I've been purified.
Yeah, I can't
jump
speak
in the pool with
highly enough for Goldblum's performance in this movie. He's so...
That scene alone is so convincing. Fucking, yeah, dude.
Because this
so good.
This will lead us up to one of a most memorable scenes I have from this movie.
Oh, dude, I have so many thoughts about this sequence coming up that we're going to discuss.
So just kind of set it up, so he storms out. And
he storms out
with some chocolate bars in his jacket.
Unlimited candy in his pockets. He's got no shirt on. He puts on some slacks. He's got a leather coat
on that leather jacket that she bought for him.
That she bought for him, that her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend was stalking her at the store. Like
that's right.
Glanced right over that shit. Literally stalking her and fucking assaulted her like in this place.
Sleaze, man. This guy is sleazy.
Oh, dude, what an asshole. But he's supposed to be the fucking hero of the movie, man.
That's a strange thing. That's kind of his arc, man. It's like he comes around. Yeah.
But he's still like, look at my dick. Like even as a hero, like that's still his driving force.
We'll
so Jeff Goldblum, like he's got the Goldblum strut. Like it's the end of Independence Day and he's smoking that cigar. He's just got that walk about him. You know what I mean?
But he's kind of walking fast. Like he's still kind of twitching and just looking for something.
Yeah. It's a mild jog. Like he's looking to get into some shit. So he ends up at this bar where two beefy dudes are arm wrestling as they want to do in 1986.
Yeah, in Canada, I guess. I guess that's what happens there.
And there's a woman there watching him, and Jeff Goldblum, like, he's hitting on her, and he's like, well, what if I get in there and wrestle for him? Because she wanted to be with the guy who is obviously going to win the wrestling match between the
I'll
two
stop
gentlemen.
You here, too, because, is this just 80s sleaze all around, too? Because he tells her, he's like, yeah, I'll arm wrestle you for the lady here. Like the winner gets to take her home and fuck her.
Like, he owes her.
And she's like, man, I ain't no hooker.
Right. And he rolls his eyes at that point. She literally says, I had no hooker. He rolls his eyes and starts eating another fucking chocolate bar. Where's he pulling these candy bars from? How many pockets are in this
he had them in the
jacket,
man. He keeps pulling them out. I mean, even one of the guys there makes fun of him. He's like, look out for this guy. He eats candy bars or chocolate bars. Yeah.
Yeah. What a real pussy eating candy. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's 86. Like, this is how they thought. So he puts up $100 against this guy. So obviously the guy takes the bet.
Yeah. Jesus.
And they start to arm wrestle and some kind of Brian.
Okay.
How would you describe that?
Okay. I'm trying to think. I was going to get your thoughts on this too about what's happening. So, I mean, he's pulling, and somehow it's kind of a secretion is coming out of his fingers.
Like if flies arm wrestled. Like the goo that came out of their hands when they met, like, Stallone and that dude and Over the Top. Like, I think it was like it's supposed to be like a corrosive kind of like
a defensive
what I was gonna
ooze. Ask. Is that the reason why what happens to this guy's arm?
No, I think this was just pure fly strength. So they literally start to arm wrestle, and Goldblum, I don't know if his character Seth Brundle had ever done arm wrestling. But instead of trying to slam the guy's arm down, he basically just broke it in half.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's so strong that he just he snaps the guy's arm.
Out. Yeah, and Goldblum just gets up, grabs the money and the woman, and leaves.
And you notice him?
He
puts his hands up. He's like, "I win."
Yeah, but I'd like to point out the guy never actually had his wrist pinned. So I mean, that's technically they're still arm wrestling.
Well,
right?
Technically, I guess he probably just tapped out at that point, right?
I don't think so. He never actually submitted. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
it's like when Maven put out the Undertaker in the 2002 Royal Rumble, and then the Undertaker dragged him out from the ring and beat the Christ out of him. Like Maven technically is still in the Royal Rumble for 2002. He's never been eliminated over the top.
The way I would read this is, I mean, you just busted a guy's arm. I don't think anybody's going to get up and debate the rules with you at that point. You're going to be like, yeah, you won.
It snaps out, and it is so gnarly. And Goldblum literally just grabs this woman and goes. And they just start walking down the road, and she goes with him.
Well, yeah, he's like,
he tore this dude's arm off.
Yeah, and he's like, let's go back to my place. She's like, oh, no, I want to hit some more bars. He's like, oh, okay, right. We'll hit some more bars. We'll go back.
Yeah.
But yeah, takes her back with him, and proceeds to fuck her.
Yeah, but he literally just tore this guy's arm off, and she asked him like, "What's he do?" or something like that, and he said like, he sets up.
Oh no, yeah,
something really creepy.
Yeah, she said, "Are you a
really
bodybuilder?" And
her.
he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I build bodies." Yeah, or something like that.
Or I build them and take them.
I take them apart and rebuild them or something like that. Yeah.
He said something really creepy, and she just goes, "Okay," and just keeps walking down the road with this guy.
Yes,
it's fucking ludicrous, man.
Hey, I mean, she's a true barfly, man. I mean, she wants the biggest and the baddest.
Yeah. So he Brundle flies her, all night, as we're led to believe.
Yeah.
And then he goes through the teleportation again because coffee filtered twice is obviously better.
Yeah,
than once.
He does that to show off and show. Yeah, this is what can happen.
He comes out like a greasy David Copperfield, or greasier David Copperfield rather.
Yeah, and he's still looking like shit at this point. I mean, he's looking terrible.
He looks so terrible. And he's trying to get her to go in there and go. And Gina Davis shows up, and she's like, "No, be afraid, be very afraid."
The most iconic line. I forgot that this is from that movie.
So great.
She's like, "No, I'm afraid," and he's like, "You don't have to be afraid." And she's like, "No, be afraid, be very afraid." It is. It works on all levels.
I don't know that this movie would hold up as well as it does if it weren't for Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum. Their performances were fucking outstanding.
Oh, they are perfect together, and one of the reasons why I think they had such great chemistry, they were actually dating at this time.
Yeah, they got married for a while, didn't they?
Yeah, they had met a year or two prior on Transylvania 65000, and they were.
Or wasn't it Earth Girls Gone Easy? Was it before
they were also in that? That was. After
Earth Girls Gone Easy.
After
Earth Girls are easy.
Earth Girls are easy. Yeah.
Wasn't there? Well, that was
Gary
Jim
Shandling
Carrey
was
and
in
David
it,
Wayans with them, right?
Yeah, and Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah. There was an interesting cast on that one. I never saw that one myself.
Fucking weird, man. It was pretty strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really strange. They looked like Teletubbies, the aliens, until they shaved them, and then they were all these handsome dudes.
Yeah. You see Gary Shandling in something like that, and you think it's kind of weird looking. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend watching it.
No, I don't think I'll ever go back to watch that one. But
yeah, so anyway, so the lady leaves, as she would. She finally fucking skedaddles, and then Gina Davis drops the bombshell on Jeff Goldblum. Said, "I had the hairs analyzed because she's in science." So she obviously had him done, and the DNA came back part his and part not human, right?
Yeah. Well, she said that they couldn't identify what they were, and they said that it looked like insect hairs.
Right. Oh.
And right then, even Goldblum's still not believing it.
Right. So then she leaves because they fight again, and he starts doing analysis on he goes back to his first tub.
Stop.
Right?
Take a step back, because this is also it leads right into another iconic segment, I guess, because he's pissed off, but he goes into the bathroom and he's just kind of looking at himself in the mirror, and he notices he looks down at his hand and he sees one of his fingernails.
No. That's he's at the computer first, and then he bites one off, and then he goes to the bathroom.
Are you sure? Because I thought he goes in there, and that's when he has to put on the gloves, and he finally starts typing away to learn what happened.
He's at his computer, and he's trying to type shit in, and one of his fingernails just pops off, so he goes to his bathroom, and he's biting his fingernails, and one literally just comes off in his hand, so he's freaked out. He runs to the bathroom, and the tip of his fingers, they look like Jerry Dandridge's fingers from Fright Night. They were just really long and eerie looking.
He squirts pus out of the shit,
He squoze one, and it rocketed out like a
giant zit, man.
I mean, just splattered across this mirror.
And that's when he peels out, because you can hear it too. It's like,
yeah. So you realize this guy's starting to fall apart. So you go to a couple minutes later, he's got gloves on. Literally, he's still chewing on the fucking finger for some reason through the gloves. He's got gloves on so he can type, and he has this analysis ran, and it tells him there was a fly in there with you.
Yeah, contamination. Something. Yeah.
Yeah, and he asks if Seth Brundle absorbed the fly, and then they tell him negative, they were combined on the genetic or on the molecular genetic level, is what the computer says, right?
Yeah, but I love how the computer responds to his initial question, because it's because he's running the sequence, and he sees two things popping up, and he's like, this doesn't make any sense. And he's trying to ask the computer, he's like, what was the other entity or whatever it is, and all it says is not Brundle.
Right. Oh yeah. What an asshole.
Yeah. It just shows you, because that computer's all it is that computer's logical.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand. Like they do this whole thing we kind of glossed over.
It's like having
where they
fucking
talk
Drax talk to you. It's like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, God damn it.
Yeah, because he's like, they talk about this whole thing about, the computer not understanding what flesh is and doesn't understand the flesh. So
he had to interpret a steak, so he had to teach it. Or something like that, right?
Somehow he taught it. They don't go into that. That's one thing they kind of skip over this movie is they don't go into the whole how
they don't
he
actually go into the
taught it.
science of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole thing is it kind of took Jeff Goldblum's character, because I mean in the beginning he's very much like the computer. He doesn't understand flesh. He just understands the mechanics of things. But it's not until he finds Gina Davis and he finds love that he starts to understand flesh, because that's when he has this epiphany after a night with her and he says, "Holy shit, I know what to do." And then somehow he's taught the whole thing and then he's figured it out. But
because he learned about flesh.
Well, literally.
Hey, look at my dick, and then they're off. You know what I mean?
Oh, that guy. Oh.
So then he starts to deteriorate a little bit.
Gina Davis, yeah.
Gina Davis shows back up, and he thinks at this point. No, he still thinks at this point he's got cancer, right?
Yeah. He thinks it's some kind of disease.
Right.
It's kind of funny because I mean, looking back today, I mean, there was a lot of people that made these like parables to say this is kind of another way of showing what AIDS was doing. Now, Cronenberg later said that that was never his intention. He envisioned cancer itself, as the kind of thing that was deteriorating. But that's what it is. He just realizes that something happened. I'm sick and I'm dying now. And he can't figure it. He even busts out a little famous line, from the original Fly. He asked Gina Davis, "Hey, help me,"
Yeah.
So they work that in as kind of an homage. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And it's Jeff Goldblum in this makeup, and his movements, like he's a completely different person. Like he
sells this.
I don't know if he gets enough credit for the actual acting in this fucking movie. He was amazing. He's in these full creature suits. His complete posture has changed. Yeah. He's also delivering lines. He's working through all this makeup. It's fucking amazing.
He's sitting there. He's twitching. Like you watch his eyes. He's like,
yeah,
it's like literally what a bug would do. A
Yeah.
bug would kind of just look at every little thing that's around him.
Yeah.
Like he had to endure like 5 hours of makeup every day on the shoot for that crap. I mean, it's incredible. He is so good in this movie. I can't say enough about him, how good he is in this movie.
Yeah. So Gina Davis leaves again, and she has an interaction with Dickhead. She comes back again, and Jeff Goldblum, all of a sudden, like, his crutches are gone. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's skip over that part. She leaves. He goes to the bathroom to do something, and because he lost a tooth, or another tooth, and it fell out. He opens his medicine cabinet then, and there's a small collection of Brundle parts. Like his dick is in there. There's like a ball, an eyeball, an ear. Like there's some really random shit in this medicine chest. Right?
It's really sad though. I mean, because the whole thing is he knows he's dying, so he's actually created like a museum for himself, so he can remember his humanity. Basically. It's all put into his medicine cabinet. It's really, there's so many layers to this movie. You're just like, it's so depressing and sad, but so good.
So that happens, and then Gina Davis has another interaction with Fuckface, and then she comes back to the apartment to again check on Brundle, and he's crawling on the ceiling.
Okay, now right? was this portion? Because I mean, there's one portion where she comes back, right? And I think it's right after he goes into the bathroom and looks at all that stuff, because she comes back, and that's where his ear falls off. And
his ear falls off like when he thinks he has cancer and he's dying. Yeah, and like that's before she leaves the last time.
She hugs him. Oh man, she hugs him where the ear fell off too. It's so disgusting.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like parts of him just fall off. Like, and it's it's such a crazy scene to watch. Because her horror that slowly creeps over, it builds to this peak. Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, so then
so
then she leaves and then comes back, and this is where she's like, okay, let's help document this. So she's doing the filming when she comes back, and then
because the dickhead ex-boyfriend was finally like, okay, look, I'll do what I can to help this guy, but I need proof. Show me something.
Yeah.
So she's gonna videotape Seth to prove to this guy, like, hey, he's really fucked up. You have resources. Let's help him.
Yeah.
So then she goes back to film him.
Oh man, it's funny because you walk in there too. Where the fuck is this guy getting all these donuts? By the way,
dude, my exact thought: how is he buying all these groceries?
He looks that way. He's on crutches, but man, he's got donut boxes all over that
Pepsi
goddamn
cans
place
everywhere. Yeah. Because he's eating like you would imagine like a fly. It's all sugar.
It's all
sugar. Is just what he's eating as the fly. So she comes back and he's literally climbing on the walls and he's doing these Jeff Goldblum rants. And the sequence they do of him, the transition, they literally show almost in a single shot the person standing or crawling on 3 different walls. I don't know how the fuck they shot it, but it's incredible.
My guess is they probably did a lot like they did in Poltergeist and everything, where you build a set where the room actually rotates on its axis.
Oh yeah.
So
like
you can
actually,
you can actually crawl on the wall and just you fix the camera in one place to make it.
It was
complete
incredibly
that image.
well shot.
Yeah.
So
really
she
cool.
convinces Seth to do a little bit of footage. And he has a whole pile of donuts in front of the table, and he goes through this little spiel, how his teeth are basically useless.
He has to demonstrate that, how he eats, because he can't eat like a normal person anymore. He can't digest food.
That's it. Yeah.
he learned the very painful way, he says.
Yeah, because they can't digest food because it hurts. So what they do, flies, they vomit their digestive enzymes all over the food and then slurp it back up when it's in a pool, basically, a pool of goo, so that they don't show it. But for some reason, they pan to the dickhead again watching this video, and he's in her apartment again.
Is he?
And she's not there.
I didn't know he was in her apartment. I thought he was in the office. I didn't.
No,
oh,
he's sitting in her fucking living room watching this video, and then she comes back in all in tears and upset, and he goes running after her into the bathroom, and then the movie gets really fucking sad because she reveals she's pregnant, and for a split second, the guy starts to smile because he's like, "Oh, maybe it's my baby. Look at my dick. It's probably my baby." And then the horror creeps over his face, and he's like, "Oh fuck, no! It's Brundlefly's
We
baby."
know whose it is, and now the question is, when did you get pregnant from this guy?
Yes.
And boy, in this, I'll tell you what, man.
Heavy. The movie gets so heavy
because
after
this movie gets very heavy and very political at this point.
Oh, out of nowhere, man. From being like a super gross creature feature, it gets so heavy.
Because all she talks about, she's like, "I want an abortion. I want this out of me." Like when I was a kid and I saw this, I remember I was probably 12 or 13. I don't even know if I really knew what an abortion was back then.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking back on history and you look at where we are today, it's just a hot button issue, and to have
that's
the
a
gall,
heavy subject, man, for a fucking horror.
Yeah, I mean, this
movie,
was filmed during the Reagan years, so I mean, can you imagine what people in the theaters were thinking about this?
Oh yeah, dude.
I mean, to broach something that controversial, because she's like, I want an abortion, I want it now.
Yeah,
and
so
Stathis is like.
Stathis is like, well, let's just sleep on it. And she's like, no, I want it now. So they decide to go and talk to Brundle one more time.
Yeah, she wants to tell him about it first before she does anything.
Right, but when she goes back to show up to tell him, like, he's really like, he's super like strong flyed, and he basically tells her the Seth part of him is dead. It's only the fly.
Well, he gives that great speech. He talks about how he's a fly who dreamt he was a man. And doesn't. I mean, it's a really sad story he kind of tells, and then he gets real with her and he says, "Look, he's like, I don't want you ever to come back here, because if you do, I'm probably going to hurt you." He's like, he talks about he talks about insect politics and that there really is no such thing as insect politics. It's just brutality at its most primal,
at its core.
Yeah. So it's a great speech.
So she leaves freaked out, and
she doesn't tell him. She doesn't tell him that she's pregnant.
Stathis is waiting there for her, and they have it all out right. That's when she screams like, I want it done or row with tonight, blah blah blah, screaming, because she's upset, understandably. It turns out Brundlefly is up on the roof, and he hears every word of it. Every word.
Man, I'll tell you what, the scumbag sure has some pull, though, to get a doctor to come in at midnight.
Right? He does own Science Magazine.
Well, yeah, I guess, but man, because even the doctor's sitting there telling her, he's like, well, why don't we run some tests first here,
right?
Or something?
They're basically is like, fuck you, we know, like, let's go.
Yeah. They say that
is it at this point that she has the nightmare? Or was it before they went to talk to Seth?
No, she had the nightmare before all this. After she told Stath that she was pregnant, but before she went to go talk to Brundle.
Okay.
We didn't talk about this. Yeah, I think it's important.
There's a nightmare sequence where it seems like she's going into labor. She's getting ready to give birth.
Yeah.
And
here's Cronenberg's little cameo too. He's the gynecologist.
Yeah, he's the gynecologist, and Stathis and her in the delivery room, and she gives birth, and the look of the faces on the medical staff are quite.
I mean, they're
petrified.
No, because they're it's not because she's given birth. They're performing the abortion, and because he's on there and
I thought she was in labor.
No,
in
no.
the nightmare.
So you can hear them. They're sucking it out. I mean, I'm telling you, this is so deep for 1980s, man.
Oh, I thought she was in labor.
All you hear is the
at that
sucking.
part.
He's like, okay, we got it. And he's like, oh, there's still some more in there. He's like, okay, you got to help us push that out. And that's where this. Everybody just.
I
freaks
really
out.
misunderstood that scene.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. It was supposed to be she's getting the abortion, but it's in her dream.
Shit!
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, and then they push it out, and that's where they find the giant maggot.
Giant maggot
Oh, it's
just
disgusting.
came out.
It's disgusting.
Dude! Oh my god! It's so gnarly looking, man. Oh. God damn it, dude!
Like I said,
that
there's
scene's
so many
way
things-
heavier now, man. I did not realize that.
Yeah, there's so many things in this movie that stand out, and that's like one of those scenes. Besides, like the broken arm and that maggot. I mean, those are two of the biggest
dick in
scenes.
the medicine cabinet.
Yeah. And we're going to slowly get to one of the more famous ones that I remember as a kid. But
yeah, man, dude, the last sequence is fucking bananas.
Yeah. So that's when she wakes up in the dream. That's when she's telling him, she's like, "We're going right now." So they got to go to Brundle.
But I got to tell Seth. Yeah,
and then we're gonna go.
So they go to the hospital. She's in the room waiting on everything to get started. Basically, Brundlefly comes crashing through like Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Grabs her and he's out.
Yeah. I mean, just. And she kind of goes a little willingly, almost. She's kind of just like
because
she freely grabs him.
How are you gonna fight it?
Well, I mean, but she's not fighting him. She just kind of grabs him. She's crying, and then she goes.
Dude, she's so just. How much work could you go through at that point, man? Before you're just like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you're already
crazy,
psychologically
man.
scarred. So
yeah, dude, you're done. You want the day absolutely over. Like you want nothing more, man. That's it.
Yeah.
A person can't take any more, but she does. She goes through hell. So they go to the rooftop of this building. At which point they have the conversation where. Does he drop another kind of heartfelt speech on her, or is he just all fly at this point?
I mean,
right?
that's when he comes out and he says, "Why would you want to destroy?" He's like, "That's the only thing that proves that I was a man."
Don't kill me. Yeah, that's what he says.
That's what he says. Yeah, once again, they throw that homage out there as like, don't kill me.
Jesus Christ.
And that's when she doesn't know what to do, but then
dude,
he takes her back to the lab, and during this time, Stathis jumps into his car, runs home, grabs his shotgun. And beats him to the lab case. Basically, and he's going to try.
My
to kill
question
Brundle.
is, he does the math. He figures that Brundlefly took her and he's going to go save her. He shows up with the shotgun in the case still, puts it together inside Brundle's apartment. Wouldn't you walk in with that motherfucker loaded and ready to go?
I would imagine because he walks in real slowly and he's looking around and he's a little cautious.
He's taking a tour.
Yeah,
he's not walking in fucking ready to fight the predator. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, crazy.
It's a little strange thing, but I mean,
a little strange.
We'll give him that. He's walking in there. He thinks maybe he's beating them. Maybe he thinks, well, they're on foot. I'm in my car. I can.
So
beat
he
them.
puts a shotgun together. He starts walking around, and then we hear like a vulture noise, and Brundlefly just leaps from the rafters.
And here we go. This is the scene right here. I mean, I remember how creepy the arm wrestling scene was, but this
still
takes
creepy.
it to 11, man.
It's still fucking creepy.
Oh my God.
To this day, man.
So yeah. So do you want to describe it here?
Oh no, please.
Okay. So he tries to point the gun at Brundle because Brundle confronts him. Brundle grabs the gun, kind of pushes it out of his hand, grabs his other hand, and just brings it up to his face and just proceeds to vomit on it. And his hand is in a fist, and it just starts melting to this stump.
It melts like that dude in Raiders, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. They did the same makeup effect. They did it the same way. What they did is they created the stump, and then they built a kind of a gelatin mold around it, and then they just melted it at a slower speed under stage lights.
Yep.
Really cool effect.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's effective because it's still fucking gross.
It just becomes a stump, and you see like one bone sticking out, and it's just it's so vivid in my mind.
And the guy, John Getz, he's screaming the whole time, like his hand
he's
is melting.
Just watching it.
It had to look ridiculous as an actual adult being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But he's really, like, you feel it. Like, you truly feel this dude has just been melted.
Yeah, he just,
so
like,
he falls down.
Pain.
He falls down. He's looking at it. He can't, like, he's completely, he's out. He's done. He's almost dead, basically.
Well, yeah,
so
but he's in shock. But he's like, I got to do something. So he's reaching his leg out and trying to pull the shotgun to him. And Brundle sees that, and he's like, and does the same thing. Just puts his head right over his ankle, and just pukes on it again. And his leg it comes off.
And he does the opposite leg. He gets his left arm and his right leg. He gets them on each side.
I mean, it is so. Every time I watch that scene,
it off at the shin.
I'm over 40, man, and I still have a hard time watching that scene without cringing. It's just. It just gets me every time I see that. So he once he's done that, then you can tell Stathis is like he's out of it, man. And Brundle's gonna finish him off. He's like right over his head, and that's when Gina Davis's character kind of pops in. She's like, "Don't."
From the roof still.
Yeah, she's still up on the roof, and she says, "Don't," and once again, Jeff Goldblum's humanity kind of pops out, and he's like, "Okay, I'm not going to do that." So there's very much a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on throughout this when he starts making these changes. As you see the Fly throughout the movie, the Fly slowly is taking over more and more of him. Where it starts off very much Brundle, and then at the end really becomes all Fly.
Yeah.
But oh man,
so she screams no and all that, and so he goes up to the roof and he gets her down, and he decides he's like, for us truly to be together, there's a third pod now, so he's going to put himself in one pod, Gina Davis in the other pod, and then they're going to combine into Super Creature in the third pod.
Yeah, and a part of this is because he was looking for a cure for himself too during a little bit of the middle part of the movie, and the computer's telling him is like the only way that you can fix this thing is you got to go find a healthy host, a person who's and put them in with you, and then that would get rid of that shit.
Yeah.
But for some reason, because the Fly is taking over his brain and everything like that, he gets into his mind. He's like, well, why don't I just combine everybody,
Right.
and we'll just be. He describes it himself. He calls it the perfect family,
Yeah.
all in, which is just creepy. And he's wondering why Gina Davis is like, no, I don't want to do that.
Right. He's like, well, why not?
Yeah.
We could be the perfect family. So he just starts dragging her to it, and she starts fighting him off finally.
Oh my God.
And as she does, the rest of him just breaks away.
She grabs the jaw and rips his jaw off.
It comes off, and then there's like the fly tendrils like poke out or whatever.
Yeah, you see just that piece, and then another great special effect they have here is basically his human whatever's left. You can't really call it a human face because it's all deformed, but I mean basically that comes apart. Interesting side note how they did that. Once again they just put the mold over this like inflatable balloon. Mm-hmm. And basically, you just inflate that inner skull, so it just rips that stuff apart. It's really fucking cool, man.
Yeah, the effects in this movie are ridiculous.
It's so gnarly. The fly in this thing looks so freaky, man.
So he's just this giant fly, and he flings her in, and he closes her up, and he flies on over. Fly walks on over to his other pod.
Boy, he walks over to the control panel, hits the process. He's like, "Okay, countdown, 60 seconds."
Yeah, right.
And then he's got to get into the pod, close it up, and then just wait for the thing to power up, and bam, they're going to be Superfly.
Right, there's a six-second countdown going, and you see Stathis, for some reason, he just wakes up. And this poor guy, half-melted man, starts crawling towards his fancy shotgun.
He's using that shotgun as a crutch almost to get up.
Yeah, like a crutch cane, so he could kind of lean on it, and he finally gets it loaded somehow, and he closes it up with his
he already had it loaded, so he didn't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, when he put the gun together, he loaded it.
Right, okay. So then he shoots the cables on Gina Davis's pod, and they blow up, and is like, yay, he saved her. Brundlefly sees this, opens his pod, makes it about halfway out, and then the timer reaches 0. Yep.
So it begins to transport him along with part of the pod.
Yeah, man.
And boy, and we haven't really talked about this, but the score for this movie.
So good.
Oh God, because
good.
You just remember this part of it where it's like, and he gets transferred off, and all you hear is the crescendo of that, bah, 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 and then that door opens, and all you see once again, because every time somebody comes out of that pod, there's like this mist that's in there, and you can't see what's in there. It's bright white.
It's like you're at a Kiss concert.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden something always flies out, and in this case, Brundlefly pops out. Except now it's like it's Brundlefly transporter
machine.
Pod. Yeah, like he's been all fused together, and he's just crawling out of there, and like you just feel so bad for him because he's like the front half of him is like this fly thing, and then the back half like these cables that are being dragged behind him. It's just it looks so goddamn painful, and
it comes out in pure pain. Obviously, this creature is just done. Gina Davis picks the shotgun up, and she's struggling with it. She decides, like, I can't do it. it. And the fly grabs the end of the shotgun and puts it to the
he can't
to
talk,
its head.
But all he knows is he's like, you've got to do
it's
this,
just
put me out of
looking
my
at her,
misery.
blinking, just, very slowly, very kind of soulfully.
Yeah.
Just kind of telling her, like, please. And then.
And credit to Gina Davis. She's selling this thing because she is just bawling, because she knows. I mean, she still sees, no matter, just even this monster is in front of her to just try to do all this stuff. She still sees Seth, this one guy that she truly loved. And, but she finally comes to her senses and realizes and just pulls that trigger and boom. In very Scanners-like kind of way, the head just blows up, man.
Big splat.
And that's what's it. And I love this. This is the end of the movie, man. It kind of lingers on her for a minute while she's still crying, and then that's it.
It just stops.
Yeah, because
done.
But think about it. It is the perfect ending because that leaves the audience to just do nothing but think about everything you just saw right there and there.
They hit credits so quickly. Like, she wasn't even done crying. It's like, oh my, it was jarring the way it stopped. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a good transition into kind of some of the things that they had ideas for, and you can find some of these things. So there are some deleted scenes or scenes that were never actually put into the movie. Yeah. So one of those scenes would have been this ending to this movie, and you can see this one on YouTube. I just watched it a little bit earlier. But it's basically another dream sequence. Apparently she's back with Stathis. They're in their bedroom and they're both asleep, and she starts having a dream, and they kind of wake up, and then she goes back to bed and has this dream, and it takes you into her dream, and all you see is like her little baby, but her baby's being born with like these butterfly wings, and she's kind of smiling.
What?
Yeah. It would not have worked for the movie. It ends so much better.
And that's on YouTube?
That's on YouTube, so you can find that one. And there's also another set of deleted scenes where while Seth is actually in the middle of his transformation, he's trying to figure out ways of creating a solution. Like I said, the computer says you can get another human being and fix it. So he actually takes the one live baboon that he has, and he finds a alley cat, and he puts one into one pod and puts the other into the other pod.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He starts doing gene splicing.
This is like a 6-minute clip you can see on YouTube. It does it. It gets sent over to the other pod. And the special effects, they really don't look that great. I'm kind of glad they didn't have this in there because he pulls it out and it's kind of just like this meshed up creature, and it just goes nuts and, it kind of scratches him. So he throws it across the room, but picks up a lead pipe and just goes and beats on it until it's dead. Now, apparently they took this out because it didn't test well during the first test screening.
What is that?
Yeah, are you seeing it right now?
Oh yeah, it looks like the ROUS's kind of.
Yeah. It's not a great scene. Like I said,
no, it's pretty strange because it's just creature. He's Creature Goldblum here.
Yeah. So he
critter.
beats it up, but apparently, people were just sickened by it, so they just kind of cut that out because it also rolls right into
it plays
another,
very stupidly.
It rolls right into another scene where he goes up on the roof, and he's starting to feel pain because he's got another little limb that's starting to grow out the side of his body. And
really?
Yeah, and he actually just kind of, it's really creepy because he's sitting there and he's like on the roof and he's trying to pull on it and he's biting it and ripping it off, and he rips it off of himself, throws it over the side. There's a couple of things, and there's one other scene that they did not film, but they have it in the screenplay where he actually goes out and he finds a bag lady. And this is where I was talking about the duality. There's kind of the Jekyll and Hyde thing, where the fly kind of took over. He goes up there and he just like melts the bag lady's face.
Oh,
and he's like starting to eat it, but then apparently like his human side kind of comes out. He kind of steps back. He can't believe what he's done. So that scene is never in there, but you can actually find the screenplay that actually has like the scene description. It's really crazy. Yeah. Yeah, boy, it's such a good movie. I absolutely love this movie. I would recommend it to anybody to watch. If you haven't seen it, really a fun thing to do is start back with the 1958 Fly, Vincent Price.
Yeah.
Totally different movie, by the way. Totally different movie. No, not the same thing. No disrespect, to the old school style, but Cronenberg, he brings his style. If you know Cronenberg's movies, like I said, there's a lot of them I haven't seen, but I understand who he is.
Dude.
He is all about body dysmorphia and, bodies changing. Yeah. And this movie, I think, is a pinnacle. It's probably, if I've seen all the rest of them, I would still probably rank this as one of my favorite, because it is one of my favorite movies. It's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So with the hand melting effects, the same makeup effects artist from Raiders did this movie.
Yep. And you can
The
tell
very same.
he used the same shit.
He also did Gremlins, the highly underrated Enemy Mine, and Dragon Slayer.
Enemy Mine was good. Boy, Dragon
Return
Slayer.
of the Jedi. He was a creature consultant. Gremlins.
Well, yeah, they deserve an Oscar for the special effects on that one because it looks so good.
He did makeup effects on Scanner and Galaxinia too. So
yeah, I knew that. I mean, you could tell that because they probably just went back to the prop shop.
Yeah.
Well, the Fly 2, I will recommend.
I'm not going to watch that.
I mean, you probably haven't seen it in a long time, but I mean, if anything,
no, I have not.
It's worth watching for the special effects because
that's Eric Stoltz, right?
Yes,
and Daphne Zuniga.
Daphne Zuniga. I mean, the fly effects in that movie are the only thing that's good. There's a lot of like skull crushing and just.
And that movie's about
melting.
the actual baby who Gina Davis's character gave birth to from.
Yeah, so we can kind of talk about since we're not going to do a review of it. If you guys want to and you have access to it, it is on HBO right now on streaming. So you could go back and watch The Fly 2 if you want to.
You could.
Yeah, do you want to? Because it's nowhere near. Cronenberg doesn't come back for the second one. It's actually directed by, I believe, the special effects artist.
Chris Wallace.
Yeah, so he does it. But the whole story is basically, it starts off with this character with she's supposed to be she looks like Gina Davis, but it's not Gina Davis. She didn't come back either.
Right.
But it starts off, where she's given birth to this child. They kind of use even the sound. It sounds like her, but basically she dies in birth, and the people who are gave Brundle the money to create his pod. He mentions in there it's called Bartok Industries. The story focuses on them. So the kid gets sent off to Bartok, and they want to see what's happened because surprise, surprise, like aliens, they want to create a weapon, or be the forefront of this technology. But it's all about
Fly soldiers.
It's all about Eric Stoltz. He rapidly grows up. They're waiting for him to turn into the Fly, but they're also want him to continue his father's research on how all this thing worked. And lo and behold, he does. He figures it out. He figures out the cure. Because he becomes wise to what's going on with all this. He, surprise, surprise, Bartok in their industries, they betray him. And he does become the Fly, and he goes and he kills a bunch of the people. It's more like a revenge tale than it is a sad story because
it's like if they did Son of Frankenstein.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
And at the end of it, he gets cured because he basically takes the head of Bartok, the guy who pretended to be his friend, put him in the pod with him.
Yep.
Sends over. Eric Stoltz is cured. The other guy's deformed, and everybody lives happily ever after.
Yeah, it's really strange, right?
Yeah, definitely not up to the caliber of Cronenberg's 86 Fly. Nowhere near.
It's a weird one.
Yeah.
It's definitely a weird one.
But if you're a completionist, I'm a completionist. I usually like to watch garbage. So it's something you might want to watch if you have an extra 90 minutes, to waste. So,
oh boy,
I do not.
I don't know, man.
I do not give
you
that.
I could do a lot in 90 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will not give that the super recommendation that I give 86 Cronenberg Fly.
Definitely, especially since you have access to it almost anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You definitely got to get on that one.
Yeah. So good. Man, can't say enough. Whew.
That's a good way to kind of kick into the fall season for all the creepiness and horror movies, everything.
That's why I love Halloween. Boy, I love
AMC's
going to have their
horror movies.
AMC's going to have their HorrorCon where they just run all the different horror films within 30 days. Man, it just gives you an excuse to whip out the old DVDs and just say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to watch this."
Do you have any VHS tapes of horror movies still? Like, are there any
no.
you know what I mean?
No, I have DVDs.
Yeah, is that as old school as you get as just DVD?
For any other movies, I mean, I have Star Wars on VHF, but I don't have any horror movies.
Do you actually have a VCR still?
Not anymore. No.
No, dude, I'm sure you could find one online for like $6.
Yeah, for $6 maybe.
They're not expensive these days. I don't imagine.
No, I mean, hell, you'd be hard pressed to try to find a regular DVD player now. So.
Yeah, right. But I tell you one thing: since we've been watching so many '80s movies lately, it's still weird to see people smoking so much in movies.
In like restaurants and
at
everywhere. Work. Yeah,
dude.
It's weird. Yeah,
there's so much smoking in these movies.
Yeah, times have changed. Well, I mean, if you want to even go weird in that, because I've been on a kick on Netflix where I've been watching a lot of old school Twilight Zone, and those are all from 1950 or late 50s to the early 60s. You talk about people smoking. Everybody smokes in that one. Like
babies are lighting.
Yeah,
up and
there's
shit
not
in
a
there.
character in there that doesn't. I mean, I was waiting for Joe Camel to come on set and be like, "Here, you're not
Right.
smoking. You need to have one of these."
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, or they're drinking their martinis. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's weird
Yeah,
where we
it's
where
so
we come
strange.
from. Yeah, now it's like you're starting to see like people smoking pot on TV, and it's like, oh, that's just normal now. Nobody thinks any different.
It's still a little weird sometimes. It's like, oh boy, I can't believe they're doing this. You know what I mean? But it's like, oh no, it's just or like the show Spartacus. So many dude dicks in it, but it's like after a while, like you get used to seeing all the dicks. So you're like, you don't even react to it anymore.
Yeah, you
like,
become
it's just
desensitized. It's not a shock anymore. It's not taboo anymore. And you're
just naked dudes wrestling, man. What's the big deal about that?
It's healthy for society, I think, to actually come out of these shells and be like, okay,
we need more dick in modern cinema.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what's going on?
Yes. Screw the MPAA, right?
Right. Yeah. They're so uptight.
They are. That's for sure. Oh my God.
Man. So, perusing Reddit. Speaking of something somewhat adult, Game of Thrones is coming back here in just a handful of months. And someone posted somewhat of an interesting theory, again, about Game of Thrones and how like there's all the parallels you could draw in between certain deaths and certain acts on how they seem to repeat themselves later on.
Okay.
Is that someone was talking about a YouTube video where they were watching, is that the people at the Red Wedding, the way that Robb Stark, his wife, and his mother were murdered, they're being echoed by the heads of houses who were involved in setting that up. Like Roose Bolton died by being stabbed in the chest the same way as Robb Stark did.
Sure.
Walder Frey had his throat cut just like Catelyn Stark did.
Catelyn Stark, yeah.
Yeah. And then Talisa, who was pregnant, died by being stabbed. And the other head of household that was responsible for that was Cersei Lannister.
Who was Talisa? Who that character?
The wife, the secret wife he married and was pregnant with, because he was supposed to marry.
That's right.
He was supposed to marry one of Walter's Frey daughters.
That's why it pissed him off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. He wanted a queen, but now he was just getting a lady.
Yeah. Fucking Filch, man. Goddamn evil ass artist.
Oh yeah, that's what I say. Every time I see him, I can't see any.
But
other
I mean,
character.
that's a pretty eerie connection, man. I mean, that holds some weight to me.
Well, I can only give so much credit to these fucking writers, man. I mean, they're pros, man.
That's crazy,
these
dude.
guys
That's
know
such a crazy connection.
How to connect everything, man.
Now, is it Arya or is it J.B. Lannister?
That dies?
No, that kills Cersei.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Jamie.
You think?
Because they started together.
Do they go to King's Landing together in like a really odd kind of pairing?
I don't know how they're going to play it. I mean, I could see the characters doing that.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, they
start
off together.
They just
and
go
then,
Suicide Squad and just murder everybody along the way.
Everything happens throughout the seasons. They just slowly splitting.
Yeah.
And they become different characters. Like, you watch Jamie make this, hero's journey.
An arc.
Yeah. He just realizes that, wait, I have morality. Where Cersei... She just
better
becomes
late
more
than never,
evil
guess, right?
as every season goes on, man. She just becomes more maniacal, and just playing the game, man. I mean,
so good at it though, man.
Oh, she's one of the best. I mean, she is so
the best
evil, but she is so
best.
Good because when somebody wrongs her, you just wait because you're like,
so
I got to wait 12 episodes, but she is going to fuck that person up.
Oh yeah,
who screwed her over.
It's like correcting the grammar of Hannibal Lecter. Like, at some point you are completely fucked.
Yes.
It's just a matter of time, man. Nothing you can do about it.
Oh, so good. Yeah. I think Arya will get some more kills. I mean, she will. I mean,
she's got to take out somebody important.
Who is left on her list that
Cersei.
isn't dead? Is Cersei on her list?
I think the Kingslayer's on her list too, but I think Brienne Tarth might, and when he comes to the defense of Winterfell, he might prove himself. So she'll spare him, but I think she gets Cersei. I think it's Arya.
That's a good call, because everybody else. Well, officially the Mountain isn't dead though, right? He's just been.
Oh,
he's been like zombified.
But the Hound, we're finally going to get the Hound versus the Mountain fight. So maybe it's the Hound, Brienne Tarth, Jaime Lannister, and Arya.
Yeah,
they go to King's Landing to fuck shit up.
Yeah. I forgot about the Hound again. Yeah, he makes that.
Oh, I hope that happens. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be amazing, and I guarantee it's gonna catch us by surprise. Because I mean, like I said, these writers, man, I just can't say enough. They know how to write a story.
They have their own Star Wars trilogy coming, man. Knights of the Old Republic.
I can't wait. I cannot wait, because either I'm just gonna be so fucking excited, or I'm gonna be so disappointed.
There's no way you can be disappointed.
I don't think so either, because
Weiss and Benioff, right?
Yes,
That's
yep.
yeah.
They're
doing their own Star Wars trilogy, like their own characters. Yeah, there's no way it could be bad.
Please,
dude.
God, if they did Knights of the Old Republic, it would just because there's so many fans of that game too. It would just work on so many levels. I mean,
and it's kind of in their wheelhouse, like the medieval kind of fantasy. Like they do it better than anybody, arguably, these days.
Absolutely,
so why not?
Yeah. I mean, just plain and simple. They know how to write characters and dialogue and create drama, which is something that Lucas has never, ever been able to do. And really, nobody ever, even since, has really been able to do it. I mean, some of them, have been able to. Ryan Johnson, I mean,
he tried.
They tried, but they didn't
freaked out, us
succeed
included,
on a massive level.
Yeah. They took a lot of chances, like probably a couple too many.
Yeah,
but
we'll see if Brienne of Tarth shows back up in the Star Wars universe.
I fucking hope so, man. Damn.
I don't know. I think she's actually dead in that series, though. I think she's.
Hey,
gone.
man, we get her back as Brienne of Tarth. I don't give a shit. We're gonna see her fuck plenty of people.
Yeah,
up.
she will. I mean, she's still a great character from that show.
I can't
she
wait,
kicks
dude.
Every guy's ass.
I can't wait just for like the Hound and Arya and her all to come back together again, dude. It's gonna be so fucking.
It's like the Avengers, man, in medieval times.
Yes, dude. Absolutely. Except they murder the shit out of everybody in the face.
And they are literally going to be Avengers. They are avenging all the deaths that have come along thus far.
It's gonna be so gnarly. We still have like fucking 10 months, right, to wait.
Yeah, because
by now, right?
I have been reading some things, and they apparently Game of Thrones doesn't have all their stuff in for any time, so it's definitely going to be into probably summertime. It's not going to be May or April like we were kind of thinking.
Fuck.
So they'll
so like June, July.
We're looking at about the middle of the year, maybe back to August. I hope not.
Oh boy.
Maybe they're just bullshitting us, but.
Ooh, the lolly. That is disappointing.
But I'm looking forward. I'm still going through it. I'm back to. I think I'm up to season 5 now.
I want to start it again, but I kind of like I'm trying to time it. You know what I mean? But I just want to do it again, but I don't want to do it twice because I know.
Have you watched it more than once?
All the way through?
Yeah, like
just twice.
Every episode. Okay,
just twice.
Yeah, I think you get it on the second try. Like I said last time, you get so much more on the second viewing because you really understand what is going on. You understand the fates of where people are going, and you're not trying to remember who's who. Because
it's just so damn rewatchable. Like I could go through. I guarantee I'm probably going to do it twice before it airs.
I would recommend
it all again.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to get through it, and I will probably have to get another subscription to HBO just to watch it again.
Just make another email address, man. It's fine. Get it all done in a month. You're good to go.
It's
not like The Walking Dead. Like I don't know anybody who I don't go back and rewatch old Walking Dead.
I couldn't do it.
There's not that connection to it. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to do, but they do it so fucking well with Game of Thrones. Like you really expect that of all your shows. It's like, well, why can't these guys? Why can't you figure it out? What's your problem?
Yeah. Man,
where's the world building like they do over there with Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
that's the difference between pro writers and pro. Because I kind of call it like movie making writers, even though they're technically doing television, and then you have like lower level television writers.
You have like the CW, television, and then like NBC, HBO.
And Game of Thrones is doing this right because they're getting out of the game now. Because I mean, there's only so much you can write before the story gets stale. And it's one thing that Walking Dead is having a problem with. You're telling the same story every season, and people are getting tired of it. That's why I stopped watching it.
Yeah, you'd only see so many cool zombies before it's just like, all right, man.
Yeah. And then you start asking those real weird nerdy questions. It's like, come on, man. These things cannot be around forever. They're rotting.
Why are you still living in the South? Go to where it's cold. What the fuck are you doing?
It's something else.
Or maybe it's the same world as the vampires who live in Alaska, so you can't go to where it's cold because blah blah blah. Oh, monsters everywhere.
The new rules that people seem to come up with.
Just
for
make
horror
this shit
movies,
up as they go.
Or monsters, yeah. Golly.
Yeah. So, do you have any plans on watching any of the more Marvel shows on Netflix before the end of the year? Like before
right now,
they switch over to Disney
Right
streaming?
now, I don't, because I got other things in the queue, I think. But
yeah, a lot of horror movies coming up. Well, if you get the chance, I would recommend the second season of Iron Fist.
boy, I mean, you've been selling me on this thing, and I just have a hard time getting into Iron Fist.
Dude, it was surprisingly strong. I mean,
Really?
I'm going to watch it again to see where it ranks for me amongst the other Marvel Netflix shows.
Give me
but it's
this.
shockingly up there.
Okay, give me this. If you put it head to head with like the Punisher, that series, where would you put it? I mean, is it well below the Punisher? Is it even? I mean,
it's not well below. It is
Okay.
not well below at all. I think they're on level playing fields, those two.
okay, because I like the Punisher.
It's so much better. And that Marvel is actually trying to do something where they changed the whole essence of the show, arguably to kind of what it should have been to begin with, given what the character is about. They're really making some bold choices with it, and all the fights, like they had the choreographer from Black Panther to do the entire fight structure, everything for the second season. And Finn Jones, he's so much more comfortable in the role of Danny Rand. You get Simone Missick back as Misty Knight. I forget the lady's name who played Colleen Wayne, but she's, dude, top to bottom, fucking so good.
How many episodes? Is it 10 episodes?
10.
Okay.
Yeah. The first 6, I don't. It's like any Marvel Netflix show to where the first 6 are always. It's always the build for for the big finish. I will say that their first 6 episodes, they're not as good as the second half, but they're really good in their own right. They're better than other 6 episodes than the first half of some episodes for some other shows they've done.
Are these hour-long episodes or like 45-minute long episodes?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're about hours.
All right.
But if you like the first 6, you're definitely gonna love the last 4.
Well,
I
think if you go in 6 episodes, you gotta finish.
you're not gonna be disappointed. You're not gonna be disappointed. It is so much better.
It's so hard for me because I remember, because I still get confused. I can't remember if Iron Fist showed up in Jessica Jones or was it
Iron Fist showed up in the second season of Luke Cage.
Was that what it was? Okay, because that's where I saw it, and I just remember watching it, and I was like, "This is dumb."
You didn't like the Hero for Hire's team up they did
No.
in the second season of Luke Cage?
No.
Oh my god.
Are you surprised by my dislikes? If you like it, man, I'm gonna dislike it probably. So.
Oh, it's crazy. That is absolutely bonkers.
Oh, Jesus. But
Well, one other important note about Iron Fist, it included the very first post-credit scene for a Marvel Netflix show, which was a strong teaser for Daredevil. And they definitely confirmed that Daredevil's going to be born again, to where he basically says, I can't live as Matt Murdock and both the Daredevil, so fuck Matt Murdock, I'm just Daredevil. Like, he is just going to be total brutal annihilation.
Giving up the lawyer. He's just going to go around. I mean, is he still going to be like an Avenger of the Night, or is he going to just go out in the daylight now and just
I doubt he's going to be like the Dark Knight Rises and fight in the daytime. It's definitely going to be very much under the cover of night, but he's just going to be like a murderer kung fu ninja assassin.
Well, I mean, if I was a superhero, I think that's the way I'd have to do it too. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, when you got time to sleep, man.
Yeah, exactly. But you need some income, I guess. So you at least
yeah.
get a job, stocking groceries or something. You got to do something to pay the bills.
I mean, that's why Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark make great heroes.
You rob the occasional crook. You know what I mean? As you're punching them, it's like you rob somebody. You're like, I'm gonna Robin Hood your ass, and I got to pay my rent.
So you become very much an anti-hero at that point. You're just like.
But I mean, that's Robin Hood was like that, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. In culture, yes. I
he fed himself too. I'm sure he didn't just give everything to the other poor people. You know what I mean? He ate.
Yeah, I mean he had to sustain himself. He didn't keep everything for himself.
Right.
But he kept just enough to sustain his crew of.
You got to cover your overhead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just smart business.
Yeah, I mean when you're a superhero in modern day, I mean shit. I mean those
dude,
leather
crazy.
suits don't pay for themselves, man.
Oh, there has to be only 5 people on the planet that can make them, so they could jack up their prices.
Well, once again,
yeah, make these things.
Yeah. That takes me back because I had recently watched it. Was The Dark Knight? I recently watched it, or Batman Begins. I love how Nolan in his movies got so in depth into how they would actually create something like that. Where he's like, yeah, we got to order 10,000 of these pieces so nobody will get suspicious.
Right.
He gets into the economics of the whole thing. It's great.
I did very much like that detail.
Yeah.
I do remember really liking that part. I was like, that's okay. I like that. That was good. I like that dedication to detail, man. I fucking dig it.
Yep.
And speaking of dedication to detail, There is one last thing I think we should kind of cover, maybe.
I know what you're going to go to.
In a dedication to detail, we had heard rumors and strong indications and just outright telling that Halloween 2018 would indeed feature a one-shot tracking scene where it's going to show Michael basically just murdering everybody. And I want to say, from the looks of this new trailer that came out, like that's what this is from. Like, did you get that sense too, or am I just reading too much into that?
Absolutely, they are teasing this thing. Oh boy,
it's brutal.
This is a creepy trailer, man.
Yes. And the new score, like it's definitely still much the Halloween 1978 sound, but Carpenter, like something erupted in that dude because he punched it up. It hits.
It's so great. I mean,
strong.
We can kind of talk about it, and then we'll actually watch it here. But you know, it's very much it pulls from like the very first Halloween, where the kids are out on the street, kind of like every Halloween movie kind of started that way. Where the kids are out there and they're out there because that's the way this trailer starts, and you just hear the bong 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 bong. Oh man.
Yeah. And it's just Michael just walking down the street, which is terrifying.
It's like a montage of just, like instead of him hitting every house like you did as a kid to get every piece of candy, it's like him hitting every house to murder as many people as he can.
Yeah.
Oh,
and this murder scene too is a direct throwback from the first movie. Like it's a replay of the first couple he killed, like in a previous movie, right? Like in the kitchen, the lady with her robe.
Yeah.
Was that in part 2 or was that in the original first one?
In part 1, because part 2 took place all in the hospital.
Right.
So yeah, part 1 where what's her name? I don't remember the characters' names. I should know
Mrs.
these.
something.
Yeah, but she was the one babysitting, and she spilled stuff on her, so she had to go out in the laundry room and do.
No. That was in the first one. Like there's a kill in one of these movies that it might be one of the shittier ones, like maybe the ones.
Well, it's a good possibility.
Like in part 4 or 5, that Michael goes into the kitchen, follows this lady just like he does here, like she's dressed the same and all that. Like it, I want to say it's in the very start of part 2 before he makes his way to the hospital, right? Or maybe it's in part 6.
No, it might be that. I'm thinking maybe the opening scene to H2O. Because that's the one where the nurse.
That's the old nurse, right?
Yeah, maybe that's not the one you're thinking of.
No, I'm gonna look it up. I can find it.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not part 2. Part 2, I think it kind of just starts with Michael roaming the streets.
Right, but didn't he murder a couple people like in that first part? Like as he's just roaming the streets.
Boy, it's been so long since I've seen it now. I don't remember.
We're gonna have to check that out as part of our homework.
All I remember about part 2 was they kind of set it up that Ben Tramer, the guy who Jamie Lee loved, he was for some reason dressed up exactly like Michael Myers. Makes no sense.
Same exact outfit.
Yeah, same exact
everything.
One. But gets burned up in a car accident. Is that what happens? I can't remember now.
No, Loomis caused the accident. He was walking down the street, so he shot at him, and like cars swerved into him. 2 cars crashed like into this guy at the same time, and he blew up in a ball of fire.
But he burns
right?
up. Yeah. And then
but they think it's Michael, and then it turns out to be Jamie Lee's.
And then
would-be
and then
boyfriend.
all I remember is Michael Myers like walking through the streets as kids are still walking around downtown.
Yeah.
And then he's following the ambulance, and then for some reason he just shows up at the hospital at that time.
In my head, during that part, he murders somebody, and that's what they remade.
There's a good
trailer.
possibility.
We'll hit it. I guarantee we'll see it when we go back and watch these things again. Like we're gonna find it. But it's a definite. There's so many callbacks to this. They did their homework, and by all indications, like it came out at the Toronto International Film Festival. Everybody's saying they loved it. It's a return to form.
It's been getting positive reviews. So
yeah, but I will say. Early test screenings from audiences who aren't like critics who get access to the early reviews, the ending, there has been a little bit of an issue with it apparently. So I don't know if it was fixed in time for the previews for these critics to cover or what. Like it's got to be, right?
Well, it could be. I mean, maybe they're using that first one as a test screen right there, and they have a month basically to put something back together. To me, I think it's a little close. To the release date to really make any real changes.
Right.
I would imagine they're probably just going to go with what they got and say.
I saw a handful of people say like it might be too funny in parts.
Why would they put funny parts in that? I mean, that doesn't really go back to the old school.
I guarantee there's a lot of jokes to break up the levity in this thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you have to have that in there.
Yeah.
But Yeah, because I mean,
But the
you
funny
can only
parts,
ratchet
knowing
it
these
up.
guys, they could be really funny just to make you feel like, oh, that's so much fun, and then just, oh my god.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
just
what
to
you
pull the
do. I
rug
mean,
right from
you
underneath
ratchet the tension up, you ratchet
Yeah.
it, and you have to have release at some point, and that's where
Yeah.
that comedy helps. It's like, okay, yeah, lightens it up, and then bam, pulls you right back in with a quick kill or something like that. And we've
Demise
said this
there.
before, right? I mean, they are disowning everything after the first Halloween, right? Even H2O.
Yeah.
None
Yep.
of that stuff
Nothing happened.
is canon. Okay.
Yep, none of it's canon. 1978 to 2018, 40-year gap, nothing else
I
happened.
cannot wait for this movie to come out. Gee, it's been a long time since I've waited for a horror movie to come out.
Yeah, what's the last horror movie you saw in theaters? Can you remember?
Boy,
That's a hard pull for me,
honestly, I
too,
can't
man.
because anything nowadays, I really don't go to the theaters to watch horror movies. I think the last time I went to go see one was the original Japanese version of The Ring, or one of those
Dude,
ones. They were showing that at the Draft House once, so I went and saw that. But that doesn't really count
okay.
as
Yeah.
an actual horror movie being released. So
What's the last one I saw in theaters was The Conjuring.
never saw any of those movies. So
They're good.
are they? Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just can't get in with the style of that movie. I hate it. It's
Yeah.
too much like found footage bullshit. And since the Blair Witch Project, none of the other ones really do anything for me.
I like James Wan's movies, man. I really
Yeah.
do. All the
Yeah.
Saw movies, Aquaman now, you know what I mean? All the Conjuring
I
movies.
remember the first one was good, and then everything else just like, well, let's just figure out an inventive way to torture people.
Well, that's what it was. The first one did so well. Studios are like, you got more ideas? Guy's like, of course I got more ideas.
Yeah, he's like, I got all the ideas I couldn't fit into this first
Right.
one. Yeah.
Right. I got plenty of other ways to murder people. What about a story? We don't need that shit. Just make
Yeah.
everything look awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, they're fucking great. Also, the Insidious movies.
See, never watched any of those either.
did.
I've never seen
They're
them.
good. They're really
I've heard
good.
that about that.
They're
heard that.
really, really good.
Boy. Oof.
Lynn Shay, like kind of like the star, like she carried the franchise
Yeah,
after
how does
Patrick Wilson
how
did the
does
first
her
one.
character get into horror? I mean, she is very much a comedic actress, isn't she? I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, well, she's Bob Shay's sister.
yeah.
Yeah,
But somehow
New
she-
Line,
but how-
Nightmare on Elm Street, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then she gets into that shit. So
Yeah. Well, she's fantastic, man. I thought that too. Like she's Magda from Something
Yeah,
About Mary. Like
yeah.
she does from Kingpin.
Kingpin
you know what I mean?
and all that, yeah.
The landlord. Yeah. Very much a comedic actor. Like is amazing. In comedy, but in these horror movies, in the Insidious movies, dude, stellar.
yeah, she plays like an
Stellar.
old woman in that thing, doesn't she? Or-
Like a psychic. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like almost if the psychic lady from the Poltergeist.
She kind of looks like
had her own Ghost Adventures crew, and they went around.
she looks
busting
like
ghosts and demons.
she looks like Bathilda Bagshot from the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, dude, that's a great call.
just not as rotted away.
Yeah, no, these movies are great, man. They're honestly written really well. Like they have like they interconnect the worlds really carefully. The jump scares are really solid, and they're rewatchable. And they're
Really?
Blumhouse productions. Yeah,
See, that's hard to say. If it's Blumhouse, it's hard to say that it would be rewatchable. But
they are. They're
Yeah.
rewatchable. Every time I have the opportunity to watch one of the Insidious movies, I do. They're good.
yeah, I guess I'll put them on the queue next time
Warren
I
Pell,
see
James
it.
Wan, Jason Blum. They're solid.
Yeah, I mean they know how to make really cheap movies and make a lot of money.
Yeah, man.
So.
They're really entertaining, dude.
Yeah.
I really dig them.
I heard a podcast once we were talking about it, and they were saying that is this the future of movies? Is to figure out basically, I mean, figure out the cheapest way to make a movie but make the most money from it. It's very Roger Corman. Just cut every corner you can and just put out
Yeah.
shit. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what he was known for.
Well, speaking of, apparently Jason Blum has already said that they would love to do sequels for Halloween 2018, but it depends on how well this one does.
This one's
And
gonna
by
do
all-
well.
Yeah, by all indications, I think we're going to be definitely seeing Halloween continue. So, does that already kind of spoil the ending, or are they going to leave it wide open, much like the last one, where it'd be like, "Do you believe in the boogeyman?" and you see Michael's gone. You know what I mean?
If this is anything like anything, this is modern Hollywood. You do not close doors.
Right, yeah.
You are going to leave this open, just like the original, and you're going to think he's dead, but he's not.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'll open up. That way you can leave it up to interpretation. Either if they don't make a sequel, he died. But if they do
So
make
then-
a sequel, it's like, yep, see, he didn't die.
Right. Yeah. So then, from that last scene in that trailer, when Jamie Lee's like when she's being Loomis at the end, does she come back in Halloween 3 as blind Jamie Lee Loomis?
Yeah, it depends on how much money they give her.
Yeah,
well, she doesn't have a whole lot going on.
They're not going to bring her back just for one movie just to kill her off. You know what I mean?
Like they did in which Halloween was it where they brought her back to die? Resurrection.
That was
or
Resurrection.
The Curse of Michael Myers.
No, that was Resurrection. Yes.
Was it Resurrection? Okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I'll respect a Buster.
I mean that because that was a dumb thing for that one. They brought her back the whole thing just so they could kill her off. It made no sense.
That one just felt like a cash grab. But It connected H2O, so it gave that movie, quote unquote credibility.
Yeah. Some major quotes there,
Right.
God, I'm kind of excited for us to get back into those movies when it comes time because that's.
Yeah, me too, man.
There's so many of them I've watched, and I know I'm gonna get through, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna have a hard time. It's just like I'm gonna be checking my watch, just waiting for this thing to get over with.
Yeah, my queue, it's already stacking up, man. It's getting crazy full already with horror movies, like different creature features and shit I see. It's like, I could watch that again.
I love October when it rolls around. God.
Yeah. You should check out Shudder if you haven't yet, that horror service.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that one, yeah.
It's solid, dude.
Do they have good shit on there, or is it just a lot of garbage?
It's like anything like Netflix, to where there's going to be a lot of shit you haven't heard of, but they have a lot of really solid gems.
Okay.
And they really kind of cranked up around Halloween time. I want to say they did something with that not Billy Bob, the guy who used to do the horror movies on Turner Classic Movies, whatever it was.
TNT. Joe Bob Briggs?
Joe Bob Briggs, yeah. He did a horror marathon with them last year, and I think they're doing another one with him this year. And,
that's cool.
God damn, there was something else with that movie, or with that channel. But yeah, it's like $5 a month, like the last time I had it. It was pretty good.
I wonder if they got a free preview out I can check out for a while.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah. That's definitely worth it, especially, because, coming up to October, everything just comes out, and you get to catch up on all the things you loved from your childhood.
Okay, so I'm very glad you went there with that. Are there any Halloween kids movies that you still watch as an adult?
Come
on, man.
You're talking about just regular movies that relate to Halloween, or can it just be horror movies that I saw as a kid?
No, I mean a child's Halloween movie.
Child's Halloween movie. Okay, well, if I'm going back to childhood stuff, The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown is always on there.
You watch that every year?
I still, if I see it on, I'll watch it. Boy, what else? Childhood Halloween films.
Or kids' Halloween movies, even if they came out in the past couple of years.
Oh.
Because Nightmare Before Christmas, unabashedly, I will
Nightmare
watch.
Before Christmas? Okay, I guess
several times
that is
a year.
technically a Halloween movie.
Yeah, man.
Does Corpse Bride still fit in that? I own that one.
I would say so. I think that counts in there.
Boy.
Children's ones does do a lot of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus? That one doesn't make it on your list?
No. I don't like that one.
Really?
That's the one with Wind Beneath My Wings, right? Bette
Midler.
Yeah, Bette Midler.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always get that one confused with the English version. What's the one where the three witches...
The Worst Witch.
Or the witch, yeah, she turns the kid into a mouse.
Oh, that's The Witches with Angelica
Houston. Yeah.
An amazing movie.
Yeah. I think that was better than Hocus Pocus, right?
Yeah, but it does have witches, I guess. And then there was The Worst Witch with Fairuza Balk and the lady from, like, The Best of Times or whatever it was, or one with the show with Tootie from the 80s. All the ladies living in the house together.
Boy,
I can't remember the name of the show, and it was all over the 80s. George Clooney was on it for like a hot minute, right?
Clooney was on this thing, and
yeah, man. The Facts of Life.
Oh, Clooney showed up in that thing?
Yeah, he was on that show. Like the lady, like the older woman, the star of that show. I can't find her name. Charlotte Rae. She was the star of The Worst Witch with Fairuza Balk and Tim Curry.
Okay.
And that was an HBO horror movie. I don't go out of my way to watch it, but if it's available to me, I will watch it.
I'll have to check that out.
You're not going to like it.
Okay. There is some other good Halloween.
Just let me stop that bus where it gets going. You're not going to like it.
I do remember some other cartoon kind of things were really good, though. Disney did a good one. They did Didn't they do a version of the Headless Horseman and stuff like that?
Yeah, the Ichabod Crane story.
Yeah, yeah. So that was good. There was a Garfield cartoon too that was pretty decent as a child. And then I remember there was actually a Bugs Bunny Halloween special that I remember. I don't know if they aired that anymore though.
Quackbusters. It's on HBO.
Quackbusters.
Yeah, that's what
that's
it's called.
the one. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah,
I know, man.
So it's like a bunch of old 40s cartoons spliced into modern ones.
Yeah, they just loop them together. It's like they're like Michael Bay. It's like reuse the old shit. Nobody cares.
Because I mean, like the colors and the voices will change, but
they change, but it's like it's close enough. It's like when Brian Henson started doing Kerbert. It's like it's Kerbert enough.
Yeah. Never could get Rolf quite right, but he tried.
Right, yeah. But it's like he gave the old college try.
And then, the final one I think I would put on there is maybe Monster Squad. Does that count?
Yeah, exactly. That counts.
Because it's technically a child's, horror film, but
not for kids under 11, I don't think.
No, you do have to be a little older to do it because there are some scary. Like I said, the guy who played played Dracula in that thing was
intense.
Creepy.
Yeah,
I mean, when he grabs that little girl,
the first opening scene is just nothing but demonic skeletons climbing out of the ground, dude. It's so scary that first.
That's right. Yeah, they conjure up the vortex. Like all of a sudden, those skeletons are coming out of there.
Pure terror.
And then you had like
all the lady vampires.
Yeah, the lady vampires are the creepiest, man.
Yeah, dude.
Oh boy,
they're stabbing people in the chest. Yeah, it's crazy violent. I
mean, he picks up a 6-year-old girl and he says, "Give me the amulet, you bitch!"
By the face. He picks her by the face.
Yes.
And he looked like he meant it. Like that, man. He was such an intense Dracula.
I was actually reading something about that, and they said the reactions from that little girl were genuine. Like she was really frightened. I believe it.
That poor little girl, man.
We're keeping all these scenes. Yeah.
Oh God. As soon as you cut as Dracula, you have to give her a piggyback ride to McDonald's.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And buy her like 1,000 Happy Meals.
You take the fangs out.
Yeah. Like, look, I'm a normal dude. I have children. Look, let's eat some McNuggets and smile about this. Like, oh, dude, that's crazy brutal, man.
Yeah. Holy shit. I mean, yeah. Hell of a bunch of parents, to
But that's a kid's movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still good. I have a soft spot in my heart for that movie. There's a lot of other people that will
Uncle
tell me.
Uncle Rico also.
As the
his
werewolf.
Other werewolf.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's the second time he played a werewolf, right?
Yeah, Fright Night 2 was his other werewolf turn.
God. You've got that
vastly
one
different characters because the trailer?
Well, no, you've got Fright Night queued up in your queue, right, for Halloween watching.
Oh no, I own it on DVD. There's no need.
Yeah.
Dude, I bought a bootleg DVD of that off of eBay. You know what I mean? That's how much I like that movie.
Golly.
It showed up in a clear jewel case with just a printed insert that just said Fright Night 2. You know what I mean? Like, they spared no expense for this shit.
It was somebody was printing them in the back alley of a Comic-Con.
He's in his garage, just like $40. Boom, here you go, asshole.
$40?
Yeah, motherfucker, it was $40.
Holy shit! You
can't find it anywhere, Brian.
Really?
You can't find it.
You're talking about part 2, right? I mean, part 1 you got to be able to find, right?
Oh yeah. You can find it. Blu-rays of the Blu-ray of the first Friday Night movie on Amazon is like $90, man. They're hard to find.
I mean, why wouldn't they just say, okay, here's part 1, and as a freebie, we're throwing in part 2 as?
You would fucking think they would. People really like that movie, but they're just like, nah, man, we're not doing that. $40 on the electronic bay I paid, Brian, for a DVD of that.
For a DVD, too.
No special features,
quality, not HD.
No nothing. No, man. I have a digital copy.
Does it look good though? I mean, does it look decent?
Sure. Yeah, it looks like DVD quality, like what you would expect.
It's not like, when you're watching bootleg stuff on a torrent or something where somebody took the camera into the theater.
Somebody gets up and it's like, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
The sound.
I remember that guy
really
in Spider-Man. What is this? Yeah. Hear somebody cough 3 feet to your right, shit like that. Nah, man. Not that. No, it's a good quality. Like they actually, someone actually had a copy of said movie and copied it, but they're definitely just selling copies of it on eBay.
$40 though. Ooh.
$40, man.
I just don't like that movie.
If you're ever like at a secondhand shop and you happen to see, the original DVD, buy it because I guarantee you could turn around and sell it for 3 times whatever you pay for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Call me. I'll give you double what you paid for it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a fucking sucker.
I was gonna say there's one sucker I know who's out there.
Right. Talking to one asshole right now.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, man. If you ever see it, fucking buy it. And
I'll
if you
be on the lookout.
I don't know the last time you've seen that movie, but do yourself a favor, watch it again.
I think I think it's on YouTube. I think you can find like a bootleg copy on YouTube.
I might be able to hook you up.
I think it's actually shot in reverse, like filmed in reverse, so it can't get taken off for copyright infringement.
Right, yeah. That's a great idea. But I'm sure I can hook it up, so that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's get out of here. This is a lot of fun. Everybody, thank you so much for checking out the show. All of you who are finding us as of late, thank you for all your ratings and everything else. Check out the website, the podcast. We really appreciate it. As we've been teasing, there are a lot of really big things to come up to the end of the year that's not total bullshit. And there's a lot of really weird and great things happening in the beginning of next year. So stick with us. There's a lot of shit coming. On behalf of Brian, I'm Aaron. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Can you dig it?